Imagine a future where keeping a conversation private means actively feeding junk audio to nearby AI devices. That future may be closer than it sounds. Welcome to the Automated Daily Hacker News Edition, the podcast created by generative AI. I'm Trent Teller, and today is August 10th, 2026. On today's show, the coming fight between AI wearables and privacy tools, a smarter way to use LLMs for learning, fresh criticism of HackerOne's direction, a timely reminder that good web links should outlive redesigns, and a surprising study connecting navigation-heavy jobs with lower Alzheimer's risk. This episode is brought to you by 11 Labs. 11 Labs lets you discover the future of AI audio with cutting-edge voice technology. Find the link in the episode notes. We'll start with privacy, because one of the more unsettling reads today looks at the arms race between AI-powered wearable recorders and the tools meant to stop them. The idea is simple. Tiny devices in glasses, pins, or pendants may soon be able to capture and reconstruct conversations far better than people expect, even in noisy rooms. And older defenses, like basic white noise jammers, may not be enough anymore because modern AI is getting very good at filtering noise and filling in gaps. The response is shifting from hiding speech to poisoning the data, using things like ultrasonic interference or fake speech like signals to confuse recording systems. Why this matters is broader than gadgets. It suggests private conversation may increasingly depend on active counter-surveillance, and that's a very different social norm. Staying with AI, there's an interesting argument that LLMs may be much better teachers when they stop acting like textbooks and start acting like simulation builders. The author says plain language explanations from models often feel too shallow, so instead, they use an LLM to assemble a knowledge base, verify it, and then turn the topic into a simple visual simulation. Their example was chip manufacturing, where following the journey from raw sand to a finished chip became easier once the process was represented as objects, motion, and sequence instead of paragraphs. The bigger takeaway is that AI may be most useful for learning when it creates environments you can explore, not just summaries you can skim. That fits with a wider idea in education. People often remember systems better when they can see them, manipulate them, and test themselves inside them. Another notable discussion today is a sharp critique of HackerOne. The post argues that the company has moved away from its hacker-first identity and toward a more sales-driven, enterprise-focused model, with AI branding layered on top of unresolved problems in the core researcher experience. The biggest flashpoint is trust, specifically, whether bug reports and researcher submissions could effectively feed AI systems, even as the company tried to reassure the community. The author frames this as part of a longer decline from the platform's earlier community-heavy era, when live events and hacker culture were a bigger part of the story. Whether you agree with every point or not, the reason this matters is clear. Bug bounty platforms run on credibility. If researchers feel like the incentives, product priorities, or data boundaries are shifting under them, the whole ecosystem gets harder to sustain. On the quieter but important side of the web, one classic idea resurfaced today. URLs should be designed to last. The argument is that a good web address avoids details that are likely to change, whether that's a person's name, an internal publishing label, a file format, or a server structure that only makes sense this year. It sounds almost old-fashioned, but it really isn't. Every broken link weakens the web a little bit, especially for research, documentation, and public records. What makes the piece worth revisiting is its core point that persistence is mostly an organizational choice, not a technical miracle. If teams decide that links are part of the product, not just an output of whatever CMS happens to be running, the web becomes far more durable. In an era of constant redesigns and platform churn, that's still a message worth hearing. And finally, a study with a genuinely surprising result. After analyzing nearly 9 million U.S. death certificates, researchers found that taxi and ambulance drivers had the lowest reported risk of dying from Alzheimer's disease among hundreds of occupations. The suggested link is heavy real-time navigation. These jobs constantly demand mental maps, route updates, and spatial reasoning, all of which rely on the hippocampus, a region affected early in Alzheimer's. This doesn't prove that driving work prevents dementia, and it definitely doesn't mean everyone should become a cab driver. But it does add to a growing picture that spatial challenge may help build cognitive reserve. That matters because it points toward practical questions for education, work, and aging. Maybe the brain benefits not just from staying busy, but from staying oriented in space. Thanks to our sponsor, Gamma. Gamma lets you effortlessly use AI to design for presentations, websites, and more. Find the link in the episode notes. That's it for today's Hacker News edition for August 10th, 2026. If one of these stories caught your attention, links to all of them can be found in the episode notes. I'm Trent Teller, and I'll be back tomorrow with another concise look at what the tech world is talking about.